Welcome back, Tadpoolians. So this video is going to be covering the top 5 common mistakes that are made for people that are below 1,000 elo. So if you're stuck below 1,000 elo, you're probably making one of these mistakes. And fixing them could help you win a lot more games and potentially get you above that 1,000 elo mark. So let's dive right into it. So mistake number 1 is hanging pieces. So my tip for this is to ask yourself, can my opponent capture? What are my opponent's threats? So let's give an example of this. So let's say that you're playing in Vienna and you play a 4 here, they play d5, and you take, this is called the Falkbeer Gambit. You take, and now you play a move, let's say like d4. So you kind of blundered something. Queen to h4 is not a very good thing to deal with if you're against the Vienna. So let's see if you didn't play this and get in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of things you could play for black here. You could play, for example, queen to f2. Knight to f2 isn't very good. You could play knight to g3. You could play even, for example, bishop to g4, knight f3, queen f2. There are a lot of good things that you can play for black here. So yeah, let's go back and check what is our opponent threatening. So, well, we see our opponent is threatening queen to h4. So, how do we deal with that? We have g3, knight f3, and queen to f3. So if we check after g3, there is some things that weaken this. So that's an option, but not that great. We have knight f3, which is good, but it doesn't really allow the queen much of an escape. And then there's queen to f3. A very good move, threatening to the knight, and preventing queen h4 because you can go g3 now. So I hope you enjoyed this first example. The next mistake you're making is most likely ignoring development. You are most likely going straight for the attack. My tip for this is to bring everyone to the party or make sure all of your pieces are out before you attack. You can't only just attack with the queen. This does not work. Let's say you're like, ooh, I can attack this, the wayward queen attack. No, this will not work in the end or at higher levels. You will need to bring more pieces to the attack rather than only the queen. So let's go back and let's bring everyone to the attack before we go for it. Say we play piano, say you go queen g4, and now we're bringing everyone to the attack. Slowly but surely, it is working, as they cannot defend everything. Let's say they don't play queen f6. Let's say they go g6. Now we bring the knight to attack. What if they go here? Then we go here. We're bringing everyone to the attack now, and it's working. Let's say if they go here, you have this. Let's say if they bring their knight, they get checked. And now we are bringing yet another piece to the attack. So, that was mistake number 2. The next mistake is forgetting king safety. My tip for this is do not delay castling. So, you can get a lot of trouble with this in this if you do not castle at all. Let's say you play an Italian, a Guccio Pianissimo, and you feel like you do not have to castle. You and castles, but you continue attacking. Let's say you go knight to d2, they strike, you don't castle, and they you could take this knight, so that's probably a bad move. You go back to b6, you attack with the knight, and you get defeated because you can't really do anything there. And black starts attacking with all of their pieces out, and you can't really do much. Let's say you capture, black captures. Let's say you go for this pawn, black goes to 8. Let's say you capture this pawn and still don't castle. Let's say black goes bishop to e6. Let's say you go for a4. Yeah, this is just not a great position. Let's say they just do something like this, and you're pretty much cooked. If you're like, oh, there's a5, yeah, you can go a5, but it doesn't really work. You could also just take the bishop, which is kind of simple. And then you could even go for sacrifice, maybe. So that was example number 3. Let's move on to example number 4 / mistake 4. Mistake 4 is playing too aggressive when you're already up material. So let's say we get into a position really quick. Let's say you win a pawn. Let's say your opponent plays a weird open. Let's say they go something like this. And you have an attack. And they don't know how to attack. So they try to take your bishop away. You take the pawn. They go like this. And you are up some material now. Actually, this is probably better. Now they take here. Let's say now they start trying to improve the position. And you start playing way too aggressive. You're trying to get your pieces into the attack when you already have some. So you keep on attacking. Let's see, you go for the win, and all of a sudden, it's actually not that clear. You start worrying about what you're gonna do because your queen is already on the other side, and let's say black starts becoming sentient and learning how to play and going for an attack. Now you have the option to play a little bit more defensive and go for rook e1. You choose that you can play f4. And now let's say black has way more options. You are still up a pawn, but this is a very dangerous position, and white might be even struggling for an advantage in this position. Just to play out a few moves, let's say black goes like this, white goes g3. This is not as clear for white. It might even be worse. So that was example number 4. My tip is to look for opponent threats, see if they are threatening anything, and if you're playing too aggressive, play a little bit more defensive. Don't go for an attack. If you're already a material and the opponent is trying to attack, you should rather defend than not attack, unless you have win that you have calculated out and are rushing. Let's move into this next example, which is, believe it or not, playing way too fast. So my tip is to go through your checks, captures, and threats and check all your top choices and make sure you've calculated all through them. So yeah, let's say you are playing way too fast. You are blazing through this game. You think you are completely winning. You go for something like d5, and you aggro them, and you blunder a bishop. You're playing too fast. Let's say if you aren't playing that fast, you go bishop to d3. They castle. You immediately go for an attack, and you think you have something. You're playing way too fast. You're going for knight g5. You're going for a very insane attack, and you are getting destroyed. There is nothing in that attack which actually works. Now, this even happened to me, believe it or not, when I was just a little guy, just a little 7-year-old. I would take 5 minutes off of my clock, and it was an hour and a half game. Now I learned that, you know, playing way too fast does not work. You have to slow down to be able to, win the game and calculate and not blunder very easily. So, if you can avoid these 5 mistakes, you will hopefully be able to get above your 1,000 rating. And if you can do it consistently, then you will definitely get above your rating. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and the examples and how to get above 1,000 ELO. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye. See you in the next one.